a vault lowering device that would enable us to lower the heavier vaults ourselves.
So you tell me that the vault companies no longer set their own vaults?
Some of them do, and there is a charge for it, and often they can't get their equipment where it needs to be, and we end up having to set them anyway.
Well, how would your equipment be different to theirs that it would function 100% of the time?
Ours would be able to function behind a tractor instead of being behind a full-size truck.
Have these requests been approved by the city, or they're just requests in front of the city now?
These are requests in front of the city now.
What would it be? October 1 is your fiscal year, right?
That's correct.
So August, September, they'll be
Yes.
massaging the numbers.
Okay.
All right. A few more components that were requested were a dump trailer for the cemetery staff to utilize for opening and closing graves. Currently, the staff that's out there is borrowing equipment from elsewhere in the city, so this would enable them to function more efficiently. And then additional storage in and around their maintenance shop was another request that was asked for. There is no restricted access other than the two shops that are out there to keep people that are at the cemetery away from equipment. So this would be to install additional storage and additional fencing that would restrict access to those that were at the cemetery when staff is not there. I'm present for any other questions.
The tractor you're proposing, will it be as big as the current tractor?
So we're not proposing a new tractor. We received a tractor, I believe, last year.
Oh, I thought you said it's 23 years old.
I'm sorry, the backhoe? Yes,
Is that's what you did graze with, right?
yes, sir. Yes. The backhoe that we're requesting will be very similar in size to what we have currently.
Seems like there's a lot of damage done by those huge tires when probably wouldn't need that much power or weight.
There's been discussion of that.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on the road improvements other than what you've said?
I do have an update on road improvements once we're on to the next component.
Go ahead.
All right. So Pear Lane, as y'all are aware from the last meeting that we had on March 4th, that we are going to be partnering with City of Denison Public Works to redo, that is, we're going to remove all of the old road of Pear Lane, remill it, level it, and then a new 2-inch overlay of asphalt down Pear Lane. The update on that, this was initially planned for a mid-June start time, and that was based on Public Works receiving some equipment towards the end of May. As of now, they have not received the equipment. They have updated that they are intending, that is, the vendor says that they should receive the equipment sometime mid to end of June, which pushes our time frame back to hopefully mid-July for road improvements on Pear Lane. It's still something that's moving forward. The funding is still there for the asphalt. We are just pushing back a little bit, waiting on some equipment with Public Works.
Okay. Any questions on any of these items?
No, it sounds like things are moving along.
Yes. All right.
Hopefully you get your requests.
Keeping our fingers crossed. Thank you.
Item 4F, the Iron Ore Cemetery update.
I'm shorter than him, so I have to lower this. Good afternoon, Chairman and Board. So as you're all aware, in 2020, Parks and Recreation became heavily involved with Iron Ore Creek Cemetery as far as taking over the care. In 2021, we gained access through the hospital to provide us, because it is a landlocked piece of land, access in order for visitors to come, and so we maintain that as well. As of now, there are no known property owners on record for Grayson County, and over the last 4 years or so, we've exhausted many efforts in trying to locate any such owners or any interested parties to Iron Ore Creek Cemetery, none of which we've found up to this point. The Health and Safety Code has a regulation, 713.009, that allows the city to take possession and control of any unkept or abandoned cemeteries through a process. We have initiated that process, and so what that will look like is we will conduct a public hearing in support of adopting a resolution as well as an action plan for maintenance and care. That will go before the city council on June 16th. If all of that passes, the city then has to take possession within 60 days. Basically what that means is we are just showing that we have the intent to provide the maintenance and care. So we will pick up the action plan at that time, which we've really already kind of started that action plan, which is tree removals, removing old fences, things of that nature. But it's just showing our intent to continue moving forward with that. After that process takes place, we then have to annex and zone the property itself. That will go through our planning and zoning board for review and approval, at which point it will then have to go back to the city council. That date is to be determined, but we're working on that process right now with legal, just to select the appropriate zoning measures before we actually do them. That way we can do them at the same time.
I've not been up there, but how many grave sites are there?
About 41.
And they're easily distinguished? I mean, are they under a bunch of trees and shrubs and?
So there are a couple that, there was a survey conducted, and so there are a couple that are outside of the survey areas, but the trees and the actual acreage of the cemetery has been restored and upkept. So there are some that are kind of covered just with natural groundfall and things like that, but for the most part, unless they're fully underground, they've been discovered, they can be seen. So they can't be, they're not, I mean, you can't read some of them, but for the most part, you can see the actual monuments.
And to what degree are you planning on cleaning up that area?
So a lot of what we will be doing has kind of been done, but we can only do so much out of liability because we're not the actual owners. We are not actually the entity that has true possession. Our intent, of course, is to do things like we're doing with Fairview and Magnolia, along with all of our other cemeteries, and that is to create a nicer, more controlled space. So we're thinking fence, install at some point. We do have an access agreement right now through June of 2027. There has been discussion in past years where they are agreeable to potentially us taking over portions of that. However, there is legislature that's being discussed that will kind of grandfather access into those type of facilities. So that may not need to be extended in the future. But it'll be things like just giving it a facelift to show that it's loved and cared and maintained, which we're trying to focus on for all of the cemeteries.
I assume that the last grave site that was established there was a number of years ago, correct?
I don't have the date, but
I
it's
mean,
like
it's not an active cemetery.
19. Let me see if I have it.
Oh, so fairly recently.
Now,
Oh.
Is that the one up by TMC?
Yes, ma'am.
Not, I'm sorry, I
Pool
thought,
Road.
I thought you said 2021. Oh, okay.
So that's it, in coordination with us placing this resolution to take control and possession of Iron Ore Creek. Oddly enough, just things kind of roll together. So in April of 2008, an application for historical designation was submitted and it was approved shortly thereafter. We recently were involved, or Chip was involved on behalf of Parks and Recreation, with a meeting that the Texas Historical Commission finally has the historical Texas Cemetery marker with the THC medallion and the plaque and the pole all finalized. It's in the process of shipping. And so we are working with that entity to have an unveiling ceremony to some degree, and we're trying to make sure that the timeframes align with the annexation so that it can all kind of be in one. But that is my updates for Iron Ore Creek. Do you have any?
If we, when you do recognize that with the plaque and all that, then we'll have it all cleaned up and all looking
Well,
good,
if you haven't been out there, it looks pretty good.
pretty good. I haven't been out there in a long time. so.
We do provide it, care and maintenance currently, so it's not like in 2020 we did a baseline and then forgot about it. We do continue to provide that maintenance and care. We just are kind of limited on what more we can do. And so if you go out there now, while it is kind of hard to access getting up that hill, it does look very nice. It's very presentable, and that will continue to be that way when we have that unveiling.
I know when I visited, it didn't have any sort of railing or little,
It doesn't, because we don't own the land that gets up there, so we're limited on what we can do for that until we actually have legal
when we
authority
do,
for that.
Could we not just have something short, or little border or fence or iron thing that?
Around the perimeter, or are you talking about the
Around
access?
perimeter.
The perimeter, it is a focused goal. It is not something that we currently have planned or designed, but it is a focused goal.
You have the meets and bounds description of the cemetery?
I'm sorry, do you have what?
The meets and bounds, you've had it surveyed?
We do have a
But you say
survey
there are
on
two
it.
graves outside of that.
I can't recall how many there are, and I don't have the survey with me now, but we do have that survey, and there are a handful that are outside of the boundaries.
Most of the markers that I've tried to look at are unrecognizable.
Some of them are hard to tell that they're markers.
Well, if it's gonna have a Texas Historical Society marker, we need to, maybe raise some more funds and get some sort of little designated border around it, fencing or something.
Yes, ma'am. And it will come in trying to determine what we have approved moving forward.
After all that's done, then,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, definitely.
Do we even know who's buried out there? I mean, are there any records that go back that far? Oh, okay.
That's good.
I suspect there's a lot of burials there that are not marked in any way, shape, or form.
It's likely.
I don't know that you want to spend the money to have all that x-rayed. I would hope that the ordinance they adopt would prevent future burials.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions on iron ore? I know that's
Thank you.
been a project for Mr. Greenleaf, but he's not here to talk about it, so. Any other business to come before this august body?
I'll just make a general comment that if there's anything like, with the Iron Ore Cemetery, if there's any kind of public-facing, celebrations or whatever, I, as a board member, would like to be notified that those are going to occur.
Versus what the
Well,
city didn't do,
well.
yeah, right,
We can definitely let you know that.
Okay, appreciate it.
thank you.
Anything further? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Those in favor, aye.
I'm very pleased
It is
with what's
unanimous.
happened here. That this thing's under contract,